And now we're on.
Episode 21.
Episode 21.
Inside the Sulphurbath.
So here we are. It's been 21 weeks, and we're all wearing black tonight.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
It's a good sign.
So, yeah. What's been up this week? What are you guys doing?
Oh, that's what we're talking about today?
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Recently, I was asking you guys what was up this week, and then you
Yeah.
responded with this like really clever response. I thought it was
So
great.
nostalgic.
Yeah.
And nostalgia just is ongoing with me, minute by minute. So yeah, episode 21. We got a really cool show tonight. I think it's gonna be great. We have Lawman Lynch here with us, and he's gonna come out and speak with us. We also have Dayon Huff, and she's gonna come out and share some of her stuff, basically about murals. And who else on the show tonight? Who else do we have? We have Brandon White. Brandon White is back, and Brandon's gonna play some music for us. Brandon was on episode 1, and now it's the return.
I think you called it episode 0, though.
You're right. We did call that 0. Why did we call that 0?
No, I think you, person off camera. You
Oh,
called it
he
that.
did? Brandon called it 0?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so technically we're on episode 20 now.
Yeah.
That's what that would mean.
I don't know. I don't think we should get that wrapped up in it. But
If you started 0, then episode 20.
I just guess
Yeah.
we're going to talk to you about that.
Yep.
We're going to find out what the reason was.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. And we're going to have a live musical improv. Can't even talk tonight. What's going on? Can't start a show over
I
when
don't
you're
know.
live, can you?
I didn't do it, Mike. What is going
Live
on?
music tonight. We're going to have an improvisational jam, and I think there's a lot of people that are going to join us tonight that'll make it really good. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And, yeah, we cut right into it tonight, right? We didn't have any short or
Yeah.
anything like that.
Yeah. No short film, no cut together piece, no montage.
Mm-hmm.
Just a hard entry.
Yeah.
Here
The
we
hard
are.
facts of life tonight.
Just deal with it.
Without any
We're here.
embellishment. Yeah.
Yeah. Look
And
at
so.
that. Yeah.
And so, segment 1. Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, it's
This is
good.
like a huge, intimidating crowd here tonight. Like, look at all the
Yeah.
friends that are with
It's
us.
good. It's awesome.
And yeah, exactly. Like, the camera never mattered that much and all the side stuff, but, like,
Yeah.
you have, like, 18
No, it's
eyeballs
awesome.
on you or something like that.
Yeah, it's much
It
better.
might be
Mhm.
18. But yeah, I
Mhm.
agree. But
So, I agree, too.
I think they're paying attention.
Guys, break
We
it
had
up.
Yeah, right. Break it up. We had some technical difficulty in the last couple shows, but now we've figured some things out. So
Yeah.
things
Gotta
are running smooth now.
Gotta plug it in.
I should
There's a
announce
thing
that to
wasn't
everybody.
plugged in.
I didn't figure out anything new, so does that affect how much we've figured out?
Well, basically, I figured out a bunch of new stuff.
Well, that's good, Mike.
And I'm using the royal we, as I do often.
Just making sure you didn't expect something that I did.
Did you not do that thing I asked you to do about it?
Oh, no, of course I did.
I hope people home heard that, because that would have been funny. All right, that was our quick 5-minute intro. Yeah, we're going to go into our segment. I'm going to bring out Lawman Lynch. Lawman is a friend of the Sulphurbath and of the Mantle, mantlethought.org. So please, Lawman, come and join us.
Yeah.
How are you? Thanks for joining us tonight.
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Good.
Good.
Cool. So we met through our mutual friend Sean,
Mhm.
and Sean is editor-in-chief of the Mantle.
Right.
And he was telling me about you and this event that you took part in that was called the Situational Junta.
Situational Junta, Situational Junta.
Mm-hmm.
Depends on how you want to pronounce it. It's Situational Junta. Junta it's a Spanish word. So, you'll say Junta opposed to Junta.
Okay. And what does that mean? Can you fill me? This is the first thing that Sean sent me, and so I'm wondering if you could fill us in on that.
Well, really, in my mind, it doesn't really have a clear meaning. And it goes to speak to the type of people that are part of Situational Junta. Situational is what it is. Junta is actually a place in Brazil. So basically, it is the whole idea is to discuss or to present topical issues from an artistic perspective. So situational, you may be going through a particular situation, whether individually or collectively. And junta is something that is militant, so it is how we disseminate information in an artistic forum. So situational junta is basically bringing together artists, whether you're a performing artist or a visual artist, into a space whereby which they can disseminate information, topical information, to the average individual. So if, for example, there is a current affairs issue going on. It is the norm to turn on your television and hear it being discussed in an intellectualized manner. And the thing is that we try to intellectualize everything, and the ordinary man on the road may not understand it, or the artistic person may not see or understand it clearly, or may think the way it is being said is simply boring. So Situational Junta basically brings together artists to disseminate topical information in artistic form. That is how I understand it. Now, if you come to a Situational Junta, you may get a different understanding of the entire evening. And that is what the organizers wanted to happen in the first place. You come to a space and you get a different feeling, a different vibe. But at the end of the day, the information that is displayed or shared must be relevant.
That's really great. So to frame it a bit, you'll have a whole range of different people, from comedians and artists and stuff, and so in some sense, in my mind, I picture like a happening or something from the '60s where people are coming together. Only it sounds like organized about, like you're saying, disseminating information,
Right.
And it makes me want to ask: is in some sense it's revolutionary? What
It
you're
is.
talking about?
I
So-
think it is cutting edge. It's a cutting edge way of interaction. It's a cutting edge way of bringing together people from the arts to somehow not only display or showcase their craft, but to do so in a manner whereby which we're touching on issues that affect individuals. So it is not just a dancer or a comedian trying to crack a joke just because. But behind that joke, it's a more serious issue that we need to deal with. But people deal with issues differently. So if we can somehow use the arts to disseminate that information, I think we can reach a different crowd. It's like, for example, people learn differently. I learn by seeing and participating. Some persons learn via theory, and good for them. But I have to actually be participating in something to actually learn. And I think Situational Junta brings that into perspective. You are there, you are participating. It's not a lecture, it's not a mere discussion. It's an event, it's a space where you participate in everything that is happening. So at the end of the day, you're like, geez, I just went through an economics class. But while you're in it, it's not like you're doing econ. It is after you say, but wait, that was basically economics being taught to me through the arts.
which so much great, fascinating art does, is able to deliver something like that in a very pragmatic way.
Right.
And you also mentioned if we went to one, is this something that recurs that we could go? We should go.
Definitely. And the organizers are going to kill. The next one is November. Not next Monday, the following Monday. Somebody could just look up that on the calendar for me, please. It is. We have two more before the end
Who's
of
good
the
with
year, November and December. Not Monday, but the following Monday.
We're going to put it up on
and
the
it's going
archive
to be,
too. We'll
right.
put
It's going
for
to be
people.
at the
The
Bowery.
18th.
The 18th. That's correct. It's going to be at the
Alright.
Bowery Poetry Club
There you go.
Okay.
in
That's
Manhattan.
on Bowery, right? Yeah, Bowery Poetry Club.
It's in Manhattan. By the way, you guys need to visit that space. I remember going there when I first came to New York, probably 2 years ago, and it was just this grungy looking place. I liked it. I didn't mind it at all. It looked very grungy and gothic and stuff. But when I went there the last time for Situational Junta, it was more of a I wouldn't say medieval, probably British royal backdrop. They really transformed the place. Spiral staircase and platform, really nice. So if you could get a chance to go there, you should. But
in that, embellishing the environment and stuff, it sets it. It becomes like a theatrical.
it is
The whole space itself.
the whole
becomes,
space.
And is it just like kind of one chapter at a time, or is it like everything going at once, where people are all?
No,
together?
no, that's the other interesting part. The first time, well, I'm the MC for the evenings, and I was a little bit worried as to how it will really happen, how everything will really gel together. I was worried, but I did not want the organizers to know that I'm worried, because they wanted so many things to happen in one night, and I'm like, how is it going to happen? It's going to be very confusing. So basically, but it wasn't at all. It was very interesting, and like I said, cutting edge. We start at 6 o'clock. 6 to 7 is a happy hour, and from 7 to 8 is the real show, the live show, which is also broadcasted via radio. So within the happy hour, something may be happening. You may be a part of a performance and you don't even realize it. The last time what happened was that there was just somebody walking around the room reading and reciting stuff. And you find that you will be striking a conversation with that particular artist, not knowing that he was actually a part of the show until the end of the show. You were told that he's a part of the show. So in essence, you participated in the show. But the real performance, the live performance starts at 7 o'clock each night. And they have something called the main dish. And that gets 20 minutes in the show, where that's the feature for the night. It's basically the heavy stuff, and again, it is normally a current affairs issue that we try to break down using the arts. To break that down, so it may be broken down via dance, it may be broken down via spoken word, it may be broken down via visual art. But at the end of the day, the highlight for each evening is using artistic expressions to bring across a message.
Awesome. That sounds
Yeah.
amazing. I definitely want to take part in one
You
of these.
should,
This is
and
great.
I will confess that it may sound confusing, and maybe I am not doing the best job at explaining it, but it is one of those things that I know in Jamaica, well, for our tourist board, when we try to promote our island, we say to go is to know.
Mhm.
If you don't go, you won't have that
Yeah.
experience. The only thing I can say to you and your listeners and viewers is that you need to go to really have that situational junta experience and become a situational juntist.
Juntists.
Yeah.
Well, it's situational.
Yeah.
You can't talk about it. You have to go to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And can we get into some of the issues specifically? Like at the last one, what kind of issues were breached? Can you give us some
Yeah,
examples?
the last one we spoke about work,
Mm.
and who loves to work, and in my mind, it's lucky, it's a good thing you brought it up, because in my mind, the way in which persons perceive work in the modern day, it's like modern day slavery. It's like the 40-40-40 scam. You work 40 hours per week, full-time job, for 40 years until you retire. Let's say you start working at 20. And when you retire, you may get pension that is 40% of what you used to earn. So it's a 40-40-40 scam. So it is, how do you now explain to the average man that it is best to be an entrepreneur opposed to just being on somebody's payroll? It's not always bad to be on somebody's payroll, but try to explain the economics of it all may bore some people. But when you dramatize that, a kid may get the message. So, and for me, I don't have to be a kid. I prefer to watch a movie. I prefer to watch the movie of The Secret than to sit down and read The Secret. So it depends on where you are at as an individual, and learn. There are different ways to learn. So this situational junta is just another way of like minds, coming together. It's like a melting pot of artistic people, intellectuals, persons within the culture sector, the culture industry, or just the arts, just coming together and pooling their intellectual resources together to make stuff happen.
Yeah, it seems very politically pragmatic to me, and like I said, disseminating the information. One thing that it reminds me of is Shakespeare's "All the World's a Stage," and we're all the players. And there's somehow, creating that space where we're noting that and we're enacting that, but at the same time, it's not. We're keeping what we need to be discussing as part of it.
Right.
How many have there been so far? Did you say
Just
that?
one.
Just one. This first one was
so,
work.
Yeah, it was like I said, it was a little bit mind-boggling. It was I was worried how it was going to happen, but at the end of the night, you realize that there are a bunch of other crazy people, crazy in a good sense now, like yourself, and once you believe in something and have a vision, it can actually happen.
And how many people participated in it, and how did you control the flow of that with so many different?
You mean how many artists, or like a head count of the amount of
Well, yeah.
Participants, I would say, because everybody participated, because for the persons who did the main dish, which was about working and work and the economy and all of that, the entire audience participated. So it is safe to say around about 120 persons participated. And if you know the Bowery Poetry Club, it's not a large space, so maybe more than 100 was there, because it was really packed. And everybody participated.
That sounds great. Do you find that there's any danger in recontextualizing an issue like that in some sense? And I don't know exactly what I'm trying to ask here, but as you're experiencing this, I feel like in some sense it's like liberating to be able to share information in something that will make it more captivating. And like you're talking about reaching a wider audience, and a kid can understand it, or not even just a wider audience, but affecting somebody more and allowing it to be more deeply understood, versus the I guess I would play the devil's advocate and say, would there be somebody out there saying that there is some danger in scrambling of information or something like that? Or do you think that that's inherently would lead back to more discussion about it or something?
It's fine.
Do you know?
It's fine. If and again, this is from my perspective, and that's the good thing about it, because you may come and you may find a different perspective. And that's the whole idea of us living in a society as human beings, having different perspective and still being able to live with each other. But I think it is good that there can be different ways of persons learning. To say that it may scramble or water down the information, again, is probably somebody else's perspective, and it is okay to have that perspective. But Situational Junta is not about watering down the information. The information is still going to be there. It's just the delivery of the information that, to me, is changed. So I don't, and even if such a criticism is levied, it's fine. I guess it will keep whatever issue is being discussed on the front burner.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's still an increase in the amount of times people are talking about those issues, even if they're having a disagreement about it. They're at least out somewhere discussing it, furthering their own opinion of it, hopefully. Now, you said that you mentioned economics a few times in that. Do you primarily focus on economic issues or economic information?
You mean Situational Junta?
Yeah.
Oh, no. It's just that the first one was about work.
Right.
And when I think of work, I think about economics. I think about figures and stuff.
It's a very economic issue. Yeah. Each person's, how much time in their life they spend working,
right.
How can they make their life better because of the way they work or how they set it up for themselves.
Right.
But I just heard that you mentioned it twice.
Yeah, and I don't like econ. I'm not a figures person. I don't like it. I don't like it.
And
but
I think a lot of other people feel that way.
Yeah.
But being able to put it a different way, so maybe now you can understand this thing about I don't know, taxes or whatever you were talking
Right.
about.
So again, even though I don't like it, when I watched the presentation at Situational Junta, I sort of got I was in a different mind frame, so I could appreciate it. You know, so even though I may not like it as an individual, it's good to know it. But it wasn't a professor saying, listen, this is Econ 101. It was just a bunch of artists, you know, and you're watching, and at the same time, it's entertaining and you're learning. So I guess it's a win-win for me.
Sounds amazing, just the delivery method of such information. I mean, just something as simple as I remember being very young studying math, and year after year having this total problem with it. And then one year just getting just the right person to give it to me the right way.
Right.
And it was the same information that I got at another, in somewhere else. But you know, it was captivating, and it allowed for that information flow, the transfer to actually happen on a deeper level. And I don't know math very well still today.
But that teacher solved your math problem.
Don't like figures. Right? Don't like figures. I just like to see. I just like to see a very, you know, a good bank balance, you know. But outside of that, I don't like figures.
Have you guys chosen another issue for the next one that's coming up already, or is that announced, the night of? Or?
It's not an issue that is chosen. It's artists.
So the artist,
and then the artist will bring a different flavor each night.
Right.
So the next night may have nothing to do with something that may be considered academic. Right. It may be strictly cultural or strictly artistic. So again, to go is to know. You know, you're in for a surprise. Just come. One thing is certain is that it's going to be fun and exciting. That's the only thing that is certain.
Cool.
Nothing else.
It definitely sounds like that. I will join you. We're gonna get these guys to go too.
Absolutely.
Hopefully.
Now, let's say that these things start getting really big, and I think they should. It'd be a really good idea. Do you have dreams of hosting like even larger ones, like thousands of people?
Again, I'm just the MC.
Right.
But I'm sure the organizers have big dreams for this. I'd love to definitely go along for the ride with them, how far they may want to take it. Again, I think it has a lot of potential. Still in its embryonic stages, so there is hope, and the sky's not the limit. They can soar as far as they want with this concept.
That's amazing. Is there a website that we can give everybody at home that they can look into it more?
Well, they could. The mantle covers it. There is three-dimensional, the three-dimensional website as well. So that is www.fdthreedimensional.com. Yeah, and then the mantle.com. So yeah, you should be able to find it there.
Cool. Yeah, we'll check it out. So what else is going on with you too? I mean, you were saying earlier that you've been pretty busy.
Yeah, I've been busy with work. I have an EP coming out next year. So
an EP, really?
Yeah.
What's that about?
So it's music. I'm a musician.
Okay, cool.
Well. So I'm working on that. That's due for next year. My foundation will be launched in New York next year as well. So the foundation is all about helping marginalized young people in the Caribbean. You know, most countries in the Caribbean is considered third world, opposed to America, that is considered a first world country, you know. So Jamaica is one of those third world countries, or developing nations, and we, like anywhere else, has challenges. But I find that there is a gap as it relates to basic needs and resources for marginalized young people and children. So the foundation basically tries to bridge that gap, whether be it through educational resources or other resources for our educational purposes. So we raise monies to help basically various children's homes and stuff in Jamaica. So
great.
We'll be launching that next
and
year.
You're getting non-profit status. It's launching, and you're getting status and going through that. Yeah, great.
Right.
Let us know if we can somehow help.
Definitely. I need to come back and have an interview just talking about that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That would be great.
Yeah.
And whatever we can do, call us up one night. We'll come out with some mics and like broadcast you guys. Or
Yeah,
something
that would be great. I mean, one of our flagship show is called Music for Life. And what we do is to bring together artists to mount a concert, a charity show, annually every year. It's in May, and all proceeds goes towards whether a children's home or whichever project of our choice for that particular year.
Yeah, great. And that's in May. Are you already in the forming that and in planning stages? Or?
For May, for May next year.
Cool. Wait, is that local? That happens here in Brooklyn, or is it in where?
It is normally in Jamaica. It's going to be in Brooklyn for the very first time.
Oh, great.
Yeah, next year.
Cool. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. And what else? Yeah, you seem so busy. You're doing all this great stuff. That's amazing.
Nothing else. That's basically it.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically it. Just looking forward to the 18th, Monday, the 18th of November. I invite everybody to come out and see what it's about, Situational Junta. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Like I said, there's a happy hour before and after the show. So come and drink.
And, all right. And happiness in between.
And happiness in
too.
between.
Yeah, and you may or may not be part of the performance during the happy hour.
Right. That's so
You
interesting.
may or may not.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
So Situational Junta, that's Monday the 18th.
18th.
And I encourage people to go to the Mantle and check out that article. It's the mantlethought.org. And also Free Dimension.
Right, Free Dimensional.
So it's free dimensional spelled out.
Yes.
.com.
Yeah.
.org.
Okay.
Yeah, or if you just Google Free Dimensional, it will pop up.
Free. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All
Well, stick
right.
around. We're going to play some music with you in a
All
bit.
right,
Lawman,
thanks a
really
lot.
good
Thanks
meeting
for
you. Yeah,
having me.
thanks
All
for
right, great.
talking to us about
Thank you.
that. Very cool. All right, very cool. That sounds amazing. We're going there Monday the 18th, right?
Yeah.
You guys free?
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm
Nope,
very,
that's
very
a
curious. And just like he's
no-brainer.
saying, you got to go. You can't.
I know. Get
just
your mind
know.
working.
Yeah.
You're like, ooh, what's gonna happen?
Yeah. And it seems like the kind of format that could just be so spontaneous. Like you go there expecting one thing, and it could be something just way out of left field
Yeah.
you weren't expecting.
Bring
But
it.
I love the idea that there's still, and I was talking to Lawman about this earlier when he arrived. I love the idea that there is this pragmatic connection to politics, and we're all in the same sinking ship. We got, we're using our creative energies, but at the same time addressing important issues in this way. And since Sean and Lawman were telling me about it, I thought to myself, this is exactly what we kind of want our show to do in some sense, in some humble, hopefully someday get there kind of sense. But and that's what we do, right? Disseminating information through other people's eyeballs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I'm a little uncomfortable with
Well,
how I put that.
I think we should.
I think
be
so is everybody.
situational.
But
So bring
but
us your
it's
eyeballs.
another perspective, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Same idea.
And I think that was great. How very deep. I love how you explained that. The other perspectives that come along, and I was thinking of, let's play devil's advocate and consider these other things. But that's what the point of the junta itself is. Like we're considering these perspectives. That's
You
great.
and your devil's advocacy can go to those events as well and participate.
I'll leave it at home. I'm not going to bring the
Well,
devil's advocacy to the event. Yeah.
You can if you want.
Next
Just
week.
regular advocacy.
Yeah. We should do a Junta
Not
episode.
advocating the devil.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Let's do a Junta episode.
That would be cool.
How about that?
That would be really great. We got to talk about that after the show.
Let's do it.
Awesome.
Thanks for staying with us, everybody. Staying with us. We have Brandon White coming up. Brandon, you have something to say? So you're going to be playing some songs tonight. I like the sound of that.
What's that, Fernandy?
Excellent. So we'll be getting going in a minute. Are we all set to roll? So anything before you get started? Anything you want to add? All right, ladies and gentlemen, Brandon White.
Surrounded by trains and bells that light your heavy eyes, they won't close. Knees buckle on the legs at night while the gutter punks find nothing to oppose. In the foolishness of all of this, you seem to paint things right. Painting over all the small gain, yes, you bless my line of sight. My blameless love, I'd hate to go. All the fallen cards can't be denied. You glow above the vertigo. Neck is a spring that my head waves with when I'm frozen at the Dimbo bar, having the same frozen talk about the new way to walk, to trick all into thinking I've succeeded thus far. My blameless love, I'd hate to go. All the fallen cards can't be denied. You glow above the vertigo. Like the run of disco and running high. I brought these sunglasses because I wanted to look all like serious. I forgot to wear them, so now everything's about to get really serious. That was bullshit. This is like the real shit.
All right, ladies and gentlemen,
you're opening that.
Brandon
Sucked,
White.
man.
Yeah, fuck that guy. No sunglasses, having son of a bitch.
Where's he get off, that guy?
Yeah, jag off. Okay, this is a cover. I need an easy friend, I do, with an ear to lend, I do. Think you fit these shoes, I do, but you have a clue. Take advantage, but you hang me out to dry, but I can't see you every night free. I'm standing in your light, I do. Hope you have the time, I do. Think you fit this shoe, I do, but you have a clue. Take advantage by you hang me out to dry, but I can't see you every night free. Take advantage by you hang me out to dry, but I can't see you every night free. I do, I do, I do. God, how I love you. You got me purple and gold, not blue. I don't know what the girls in blue gon' do. I'm underage and I don't care. Saturday morning, who gives a shit? Anyway, I'm just drowning through the days, just sitting in the sand and eating jambalaya. Everybody drunk on Saturday. Everybody drunk on Saturday. Everybody drunk, everybody drunk, everybody drunk, everybody drunk. Fun, fun in the bayou, son. 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 Thank you. What should I do with this mic? Okay. These sunglasses are actually looking my fucking nice. This song's about getting a tattoo of a cartoon character smoking weed on your arm. And other good decisions. All my songs are about good decisions. Mike, can I get a little bit of monitor? Is that possible? Yeah. Hello, hello, hello. I love you, Jesus. Jesus, you're the one. Okay. Think I'll dye my hair blue. Time's a call that has been keyed. Think I'll get a tattoo. Daffy Duck smoking weed. I'm feeling really daffy. Got a real cool attitude. New York's just a cold now. I'm the see you later dude. Real cool attitude, baby. Ooh. Real cool attitude, baby. Ooh. I could be an extra in the movie of your dream. The past will try to text you when you shoot the revenge scene. Think I'll get a tattoo of a dog taking a shit. Life is just a perfume. It's a smell you won't forget. cool attitude, baby. Ooh, real cool attitude, baby. Ooh. Real cool attitude, baby. Ooh, real cool attitude, baby. Ooh, oh, real cool attitude, baby. Ooh, oh, real cool attitude, baby. Ooh. Thank you. Are we going to talk now?
Get this thing yanked.
I feel that way about dentists too.
Yeah, I went recently for the first time in
Seem
like
like
a
happy
decade.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was bad. It was weird because the dentist was actually in the Chrysler building.
Yeah.
And it's like the top of the fucking Chrysler, and you're looking out, and like you have
Not
the
a
most
lot of dentist
beautiful
stuff there, huh?
I know, right? And it's like it's some fancy shit, and so you're like at the top, and it's the most beautiful scene you've ever seen in New York. Like I've never paid to go to the Rockefeller Center or any of that bullshit. So like. This is the best view I'd seen thus far, and I'm also in the worst pain of my life.
Yeah,
More
just, like,
blood is coming out of my
Dude,
body.
that was a
open.
post. that was
Then, like,
a poster.
forever.
You were on the
This is a
gas.
really
Yeah.
beautiful view
You're like
for this
looking at the
surgery.
UN building, and you're like, I've never seen the UN building before. And then you're like,
I'm flying over it.
I want to kill myself. I want to jump out this window and jump into the UN and die, and just to escape this feeling.
Let's just not go through this anymore.
Yeah, it's really weird.
I'd like to end this.
Yeah.
It'd be a choice building to do it from.
Yeah. I'm thinking about it.
All right.
That's good.
Okay, so
Have a few more visits with her.
yeah,
with your
yeah,
dentist.
I gotta
So
go back.
stay away from that iced tea then. I think is the lesson of all of that, right?
Yeah. Don't eat pie or
I didn't get any
fruits
iced
or
tea.
Yeah.
anything you enjoy.
No
Don't
sweet
enjoy
teas.
anything, and
Yeah.
you'll
You know,
live
my
a long,
dentist,
healthy
my dentist
life.
is really cool though. I smoke cigars and I drink coffee. You know, and then
And that makes you automatically
like
not
the-
cool.
like
That-
my
While you're
teeth.
there?
Well, no, yeah, that's what I thought.
Like,
you
what are
know,
you
like
doing,
oh my
dick?
god, it's been a while, and then I go to there. I go there, and I'm
I
just
go
like,
to there.
yeah, I go to there, and then when I get there, I being there, I sit down,
There.
and yeah. So then she's like scraping away. I'm just like, she's like, do you smoke? I go, yeah, I smoke cigars. She's like, do you drink coffee? I go, yeah. She's like, do you drink wine? I go, yeah. She's like, live a good life. I'll scrap it off. And I was like, wow, what a cool
What a
dentist.
great way to.
Yeah,
that
she's like,
could've
don't
gone.
stop. Keep me in business, whatever. I'll just scratch that shit off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
isn't
Yeah.
that the point, really?
Yeah.
Because there are those like dentists who are like, "Oh, you've been being bad."
You don't want to feel
What the
judged.
fuck?
You're like, why am I paying for this?
Exactly.
I didn't move to
Stab
New
me in
York
the
to be
jaw
a
with
fucking
No more
pilgrim.
dentistry.
What?
What's new with you, Mike? When's the last time you went to the dentist?
Really,
I think it was
really
about a
short
year
time
ago.
Yeah?
Oh, that's not that bad.
Year and a half.
6
Oh.
months is the like
I've done a stretch.
the necessary,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, 6 years.
6 years, yeah.
Yeah.
And I got back. They were just like, you got a little cavity. There you go. I was like, wow, that was it?
That was
And they're
good.
Like, yeah,
you get off
you're-
easy.
you're
I've heard
doing
some
all right.
horror stories too.
Yeah. I know.
How come doctors aren't like that? The doctor's like, oh yeah, whatever. And the
He's
dentist
going to
is
the
like,
wrong
your
doctors, huh?
teeth. Like the dentists are always
Yeah.
like worried about what doctors think of their professionalism and their level of real science. It's like, did actual medical doctors consider orthodontists and dentists to be like chiropractic?
Lester.
Chiropractic.
Yeah.
It's not as given as serious a cut, right?
yeah.
Of the
Well, I feel like
authoritative
there's a joke
medical
about
pie.
how dentists, couldn't cut it as doctors, so they became dentists or something like that.
mhm.
It's probably
Something
like
like
I've known people who have been Marines, and like in the Navy, and they always talk shit about dudes in the Army.
Yeah, like
oh
they
yeah,
couldn't
the
make
Army
it,
gets
yeah.
all the
Hierarchy there.
dumbasses.
Yeah.
ain't ready to
you
be a
know?
Marine yet.
Yeah, and they're like, it's just mad shit talking. Imagine it's the same thing.
Yeah.
You know.
Well,
If I was a
but-
brain doctor, I'd be a fucking bully at the hospital.
Yeah.
I'd just be an asshole.
Like, what do you
everyone.
fix,
Like nobody can
bones?
fuck with
Yeah.
me. I'm the best. You know.
Brains are so complicated.
Jay-Z it up.
Yeah.
Everybody you talk to, just the air of superiority.
It's like, who's the coolest doctor here? Well, we do have a brain doctor.
You know the brain doctor's got a ponytail.
But back in the day, right?
makes
The,
his
the
own
brain
rules,
doctor
man.
was the
Yeah.
dentist,
The
though,
bitchin'
right?
Ferrari.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they just like, oh, his teeth are fucked up and he's not thinking right. We better bleed him,
Yeah.
and then he'll be fine.
Yeah.
By the way, they call me a dentist.
Yeah. No, a barber. They were barbers.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Those people were called barbers, man.
yeah.
The bloodlettings. Yeah, they were nuts.
Mm.
Any problem?
Mm-hmm.
We'll just cut you.
Yeah, like a traveling
Just get
medicine
the bad
man with
blood out.
blades.
Get the angry out. Here we go.
Yeah.
Oh, surgeons were the lowest rung.
Oh man. Oh,
So
shit.
dentistry was above surgery, and then barbershops. Oh, okay. Anything invasive.
The guy who cut your hair did your teeth too? Or wow.
What about the phrase "cut your teeth"?
Dude, why isn't there just a head guy?
Oh, yeah.
There's a guy- I'm a head.
I
I'm
think
a head
that's what they
doctor.
had going on. They're
Just
like,
anything going on in
I'm
your
a
head.
head
I'm the
specialist.
dude.
You have head
Yeah.
problems, I'll take care of them.
Yeah.
Or if you see a head shrinker and he
Yeah.
shrinks your head,
Or you get
your
like
teeth shrink
like
too.
a good ear, nose, and throat guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So
When I was a
weird.
kid, that's what
So
it was.
very
Yeah.
specific. It
Because
is-
they go together.
He's like, the
you
inside
know.
tubes. They all connect. That's all me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ear,
Nobody
nose.
wanted to be an ear doctor,
No.
or a nose doctor,
Oh yeah.
or a throat doctor.
Yeah. I suck at ears. I'm a nose and throat guy.
I have a real passion. for
Yeah.
those.
Yeah. You got 100, 100, and then a 42. You know, like that was ears. Oh fuck. But you know, the specialists. It's a good ear guy.
But you went to the dentist.
know a good
then,
ear
didn't
guy?
Brandon.
Yeah.
What?
So you went to the
You heard of him?
the dentist,
The Brentist
Brandon
of Covington.
the Brandon dentist in the Chrysler Building.
I did. Yes.
And then what happened?
Well, I left the building, and I don't know.
Then you
It
came
hurt
here.
like hell. I was like walking around, Midtown Manhattan, and
Did you get a
shot? You know when you have like if you have a headache, everybody's kind of used to headaches, so you can kind of
Yeah.
live with it. Or if you have a stomach ache, you get stomach aches sometimes, so you
Yeah.
can't live with it. When you have like a weird random pain you're not used to,
Mhm.
Yeah.
it's like almost kind of like magical in a way because your brain just kind of tilts on itself. So I was like walking around and this just awful pain.
Oh, I
and
haven't
I'm
had this flavor endorphin
yeah,
yet.
yeah. And it's like, Manhattan is magical, and I'm like looking at like hobos for the first time in my life, kind of thing. Like,
Did you get a shot
imagining
where you
them
were all
in the
numb and stuff too? Or?
yeah, a little bit, but
Mhm. That's what freaks me out.
I'm starting to wear
It's,
off.
it's yeah, when it's numb and you're just like in the mirror, like oh yeah, and that
Yeah.
that's the one of the weirder things.
What
I've
gets me about
experienced
that
with
is
my
the thought
barber.
that goes with it that this is gonna hurt soon. I can feel that this is gonna.
Mhm.
They just cut this. Or
Well,
whatnot.
at my house, we just happen to have that shit you can buy at Walgreens where you just numb your gums up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Numb gums.
I got crazy into that. I was just having a blast with it. Just putting it up there and just like hanging out. It was great.
Nice.
And I got really into it for about a week, and then the whole thing wore off, and that's the end of my teeth.
Hmm.
That's
No more teeth for you.
it's an open and shut case. Okay. I'm here. I played music. Fuck my teeth.
Right.
Cusswords.bandcamp.com. That's where all my music is. Please go check it out. It's all like $5.
Cool.
Each
You got
item
some
or
mo-
all together.
Individually. Every minute of song is $5.
All right.
So it can get very costly, but
Regardless of
$5
how long the
per
song
minute.
is.
it's a
of
luxury
listening.
Wait a
brand.
minute.
It's a luxury brand. It's not like
Yeah.
I've heard
you
of
know,
Bandcamp.
Nice.
It is kind of.
This is not punk rock,
Yeah.
It's not
$5 the first minute.
And it's
This
also
is a Cadillac of a home recorded music.
it's
Yeah.
also domestically produced. Yeah. Yeah.
Domestically produced.
domestically
And,
produced.
Yeah. it is a southern import. Talented Magazine has had me on the, the last 6 months cover.
Nice.
Wait a
Good
minute.
Musician
Good
Weekly.
stuff. Yeah. It's nice.
And you've been doing some live shows recently too. We just saw you live
Last night.
Last night,
Mhm. Mama Joy's. Wait, is that done?
I think it's no longer called Mama Joy's, but the bar
Some
at
fucking-
1084 Flushing.
Yeah, it's got some shitty name now. I'm not even gonna say it.
I like how you look right into the camera. You were looking at the camera lens, like, who am I talking to?
1084 Flushing.
You know who
1084
you are.
Flushing.
Like if
Thursdays
you
and
called
Fridays.
the bar like Turd Mountain, it would be better. That's
It
how,
would be.
It's like Rumpelstiltskin. You just don't say it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Beetlejuice.
it's like Beetlejuice. You don't say
Beetlejuice.
Turd Mountain.
So anyway, yeah,
That'd
I
be a
play
great name for
every
a bar,
Thursday
actually.
at Turd Mountain.
Like the
It's
plant-
on
like
the
the-
corner of Flushing and Knickerbocker.
Yeah, Turd Mountain
It currently
Express.
has Mama Joy's written out on the window, and they have.
It's coming off the window.
they
I
have
think that's
wings and
changed even
things.
now, even.
They
They're
have
screaming it yesterday.
barbecue sliders, and they have alcohol. And I
Chili.
play for free. Mike sometimes plays too.
Yeah, that's our residency kind of thing, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
a resident.
You guys live there?
Yes. Yeah.
Technically, I mean, it depends on how far away you want to consider the walls that I live in. Because basically,
you-
I live in this whole building.
So you live in a bar.
I can say I live at the coffee shop downstairs. Kind of do.
All right.
I live at the gym.
I
I'm
don't.
kind of a
I
gym
don't
rat.
live in that corner over there.
Well, I don't live anywhere here. I don't see a bed.
Yeah, exactly. There's no bed anymore. This is
Oh,
just,
where the fuck did you
That's
bed
right,
go?
man. It's
Mike lives in the bar now.
Oh,
We were
man.
just talking about it.
yeah. I was just telling you, I live there. That's what I said.
It's a very literal residency.
Yeah.
You reside there and you create art,
Yeah.
and then you perform it once a week,
Yeah.
but you sleep in the corner most of the time.
That's right. And then we come over here and set up the mics and do the show
Yeah.
on Saturdays.
That would
pretty good
suck
arrangement.
sleeping in a bar that you didn't own. Like it just had
That
come
would-
to that.
That sounds pretty bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we were there the other night, and suddenly Dan came out and he was like, "We're closed." And I was like, "Wait, what time is it?"
Yeah.
And I had that brief moment of understanding that feeling.
You know, being in a bar when it's closed, you feel pretty. I just feel like a fancy person. I don't know
Oh, yeah.
why.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
single time
Yeah.
I get to do it,
it's like being backstage
yeah.
at a show.
You're like, ooh,
Yeah.
respect.
like, 'cause you'll like sometimes you'll even like
You know.
smoke a cigarette while you're in the bar,
Yeah.
and you're like,
Yeah.
This is otherwise illegal.
some shit.
But
like,
now with the shutters down,
some Aerosmith shit, bro.
100% legal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's-
Blaine took me to one of his buddies. Remember that? What bar was that?
Yeah, it's Arlene's Grocery.
Arlene's Grocery on my birthday a couple years ago, and we shut that place down. That was a really cool experience.
Yeah.
You moved everyone out of there. You're like,
Yeah.
my party now, get out.
No, we watched them. We watched
Yeah.
without saying any names. We watched some guy kick two people out for being kind of rude, and it was just so funny
Yeah.
to watch the whole thing go down.
Yeah,
Because they were like, "We're special at the end of the night. We're here with Mike and Blaine, and we're cool." And then they said the wrong thing to the bartender. And he was like, "Fucking 86, get your fucking ass up." And it was
Yeah.
just like
You're out.
all at once, you know. And then right after that, the best thing I recommend is watch someone get kicked out of a bar and then be invited to stay after they
Mhm.
closed.
Yeah.
That 1-2 punch there.
Yeah.
You got to be careful with
That's
special
just like the
treatment
king
though.
of
You
cool
go to
kind
your
of stuff,
okay.
Mike.
I went to this thing. It was called there's a record label called Mexican Summer, and they put on this big show out in fuck what's that Red Hook,
Mhm.
and it's this big, huge, beautiful old like military base thing that turned into this like artist residence. It's like the most beautiful
IKEA?
building I've ever been in. IKEA, yes. It's the most beautiful building I've ever been in New York ever. It was amazing. And so I'm just watching the show like I'm just a regular guy. And then turns out a friend of mine worked for that company and just ran into her randomly. And she gave us like the fancy wristbands where we could go to the second floor balcony and like
Oh yeah.
check the show out.
Exclusive
Immediately.
access.
And I've never gotten VIP anything ever in my life other than being in a bar when it's fucking closed, which is why I brought it up. And so immediately, like I'm like, I'm a fancy man. All those commoners down here, I'm hanging out up here with the stars, you know? And just like when I'd walk downstairs to go get a drink, like I'd be real like normally like very polite, like excuse me, pardon me, coming through. But I was like walking through that bitch like Napoleon, like I was just like straight through, like knew what I wanted, and like.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, wait, this is how people turn into assholes. And this is over a fucking wristband at like a show. You
This
know
isn't
what
even
I mean?
because of me.
Like a pink fucking wristband.
You didn't even earn this. It just happened.
No work went into it or anything, you know? And that's...
And there was that
learned a
moment where you
valuable lesson.
like freed yourself of the power it had
Oh,
over
no,
you.
still have it on.
Okay. You're still walking that line of will you become an asshole or not?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Don't we all walk that line?
Yeah, we'll
Um,
say you're still walking that line.
Yeah. That's what my next album's all about. Okay.
Doesn't own a line.
Walk the line.
Oh, yeah. There's that, too. Okay.
That for some reason I just got Johnny Cash's "I Walk the Line" together with some other melody. That's like, I gonna walk the line, man, man, man. Do you guys know that song?
It sounds very, like, got kind of a tropical sound in my head.
Did you mix 2 songs together?
I did, yeah. I think that wasn't a good idea.
Yeah.
I got backed up.
Seems like everybody loves
People got
it.
my back.
I think you should continue.
Yeah, no, this is a good segue. We always want to put that uncomfortable moment. We're going to edit out. It's like we use a clapper.
What? That's
And so I just slow the show down. Yeah, exactly. What is it without the outtakes, you know?
All right, so now we're going to do the bloopers.
Yeah, exactly. Like, okay,
Yeah, Mike,
bloopers,
I love your TV
go.
shoe.
Thank you for that, man. You knew I was fishing for that.
Thanks for coming, Brendan. Thanks for talking about the dentist.
Very cool. So episode 0 and episode 21, Brandon White. Very cool.
You sure you don't want to present any dreams?
Been on my newsfeed today on Facebook that was this story that the BBC published that was basically about this company here in the United States that has created an app that is basically an RC control hooked up to a microchip that is actually embedded into a cockroach. So you can start an app on your phone, and it's like fucking RC cockroach, and it's like left, right. And I was reading about it, and they actually clip the antennas of the cockroach. They plant an electrode
Of an actual cockroach?
of an actual real living
I thought you meant
sentient.
like a little
sentient.
Where does the cockroach actually? Do you get? Do you have it?
You have to supply your own, yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like, I want to control my cockroach.
So
No,
you-
there's a company that will get a cockroach, and they implant the chip on the back of it.
Yeah.
They sand down part of the cockroach's armor, basically, and they clip its antenna, and then they actually implant an electrode that sends electrical signals. And they do a quick little test, and if they got their electronic signal right.
And then you go to the cockroach store and you buy one, and hook it up to.
No,
the app.
it's a company that's set up specifically to sell these RC cockroaches,
Well,
and
I'm
you download the app,
Where the hell
and
do
you get
get
an
the
RC cockroach.
Do they mail it to you?
The company gets the
I know
cockroach.
The company does it. They mail it to you.
Cockroaches are fucking everywhere. What do you mean? Where are they going to get a cockroach?
How do you get it? How do you, the owner of the app, get this cockroach?
You breed them.
That's a very good question. No, I didn't really specifically see any thing about how to get it. It's some company
at
in
the pet store, they got a thing of crickets for you.
Mhm.
Well, yeah. I mean, I can find my own cockroach, but I can't install an electrode.
Mhm.
I don't
You
think.
just got to buy it
I'll
from
show
the
you
company.
how.
All right.
It's not that
But
hard.
it's interesting,
You got
because it's this
instructables for
whole
that?
You just sand it down.
sand it down,
electrode.
clip its antenna,
Yeah.
and put an electrode in there.
Yeah.
But it brings up a very interesting debate right now. Les was over
you
here.
can
He's
steer
mentioned
'em.
the PETA debate right now, and a lot of people are talking about this. And I read all these kind of follow-up articles that were about this thing, and it's very interesting because how do we consider, fighting for the rights of a roach? I mean, that's got to be the
Don't.
extreme example
Don't. I
of
got
how
no
far are we
sympathy.
going to take that kind of thing, right? But it's the idea that
Yeah.
what
And dolphins.
you want to just
Those are sharks.
you want to come talk to us about this? No.
They train
But-
dolphins to do fun stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, dolphins aren't everywhere and would survive a radio-thermonuclear war. But the whole thing is the slippery slope of that, right? If we start considering that this evolved being is a plaything for us to
Well, we've
radically
done the-
manipulate its
We've done the
physiological
same thing with
system.
dogs, though.
Yeah, over
Yeah.
time,
Dogs,
we've
just
fucking
totally
made them so
perverted
strange.
They are
Yeah,
fucked. They could never survive
Yeah.
without us.
Yeah.
Either totally.
all
Their
different
evolution is
sizes,
just screwed.
shrink them way down until they
Yeah.
look like rats.
Same
and
thing
then
with cats. They got no idea that a mouse is food. They just kill it.
We know
Just
there's
stare
a
at
lot
it.
of cat breeders
Yeah.
now that are actually getting into this because for so many years cats' bodies have stayed the same basically. With dogs, the different types of breeding that has been done over the years in different countries, and now we have huge dogs and little tiny dogs and weird long freakish dogs and red dogs and blue dogs and go dog. And
Short, tall,
and
freakish.
they're
dogs.
starting to do that
Dogs
with
are chicken
cats now.
pox.
They're starting to use other cat breeds, bigger cat breeds, to mix with house cats and different.
Large cats.
Yeah, now so I read this article was talking about
Panthers?
how in the future we might actually see cats
thanks.
being bred specifically along the same kind of lines as dogs, where
What's the
we have
point,
the little
though?
tiny cat that's full
Yeah.
grown, or we have the
I-
big cat that's full
Stumpy
grown.
legs. Like a corgi.
Yeah, or what are the little wrinkly
Yeah.
guys?
Like a yeah.
Shar-Pei?
Like a corgi is like a cross between a collie and a handsaw, man. Just retarded. It's just not.
Yeah.
Literally, we are perverting a species to suit our weird needs.
Mhm.
Yeah, like you have Chihuahuas in New York where it's freezing.
Mhm.
It doesn't belong here. You're so out of your element. It's
Mhm.
like being dropped on Pluto and just
Mhm.
being like, all right, here's a sweater.
Yeah, it's the dog
This is
itself is named after a nice warm town, very very far from here.
It's so wrong what we do.
And we
these things.
put a little sweater on.
How
It's
you
fine.
doing, little buddy?
And that's what they do. They're not just like nervous. Those are just the ones here
With
in New York
dogs,
we're
there's
seeing.
no evolution. They've totally plateaued.
Yeah.
And if they caught on, like if it was like fetch, I always picture like if you played fetch and you threw the stick and then the dog halfway through was like, wow, if he wanted it, why did he throw it away?
That's good.
And like his whole life is a lie, and he's just like, oh no, I'm involved.
Yeah.
He
Oh,
realized his place in
goddamn.
the universe. What an awful place to evolve
Have
to.
you seen Samurai Jack? And how the dogs in that universe talk, and they're all very smart. And it's like, oh, well, I tell you, my friend, like the dogs eventually just got speech, see? And Jack, like, yeah, I really love that. I really love evolving dogs. So, yeah,
I wish they'd really hurry up. The dogs.
Getting where? Like, what are they going to be
Evolving.
one day?
Well, the good
You know,
thing is
self-awareness
you can
talk.
breed through them really, really fast, because they're like a seventh of a human life, right?
Yeah.
You get through 7.
We should
before
be able
you're
to
out.
be 7 times through their evolution.
That's true. That's interesting, yeah.
So you can you have instant results, which is great. You can be like, that's what them dogs have sex.
I was
And then,
wondering,
you, and then they have a dog, and you're like, nah, not what I was looking for. Here, let me try that one. And
Right.
I mean, that's what dog breeding is.
Put these together.
By that
That's what you
rationale,
get. You're
by that
like, "Ooh, I
rationale,
hope I
something
can
like a
fit that one."
housefly, right, is it dies after a day or something.
Yeah.
So we should have made flies like whatever we
Yeah.
wanted already.
Sentient
Yeah, like
flies.
mayflies last a day or something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
24
And
hours.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Flies last like a week.
Yeah.
not according to David Cronenberg, you guys.
Actually, there are a lot of types of flies. We could probably know a whole lot less about the flies we don't know.
There's
than
the
than
biting
two
flies.
we've talked about.
Horseflies.
Fruit flies.
Also, regular flies.
There's that tsetse fly.
Cool. So, feeling good.
Yeah.
You guys feeling good?
Yeah,
Whoa.
Way.
What was that sound?
it was the
On the way out.
synthesizer.
Awesome.
Well,
So we're
that
going to
was
go
our
into
special
our art segment now. This is
I
going to be
think
really
we
great.
should.
We're going to be able to see some slides of some mural work and get an explanation of Groundswell from Dayon Huff. So we would like to invite Dayon out. Dayon Huff, please come join us.
For having me.
Thank you for coming on the show and in sitting and taking part in all the interactive stuff so far. A little bit of music, and it's been really cool. So, yeah, thank you for joining us on Inside the Sulphurbath, episode 21.
21.
Yeah, we got to say the numbers each show now. We do that a lot.
Well, 21's a nice round number because it's 7 divided by 3.
Mm-hmm.
It's 21.
That's 3 magical amounts that we've been through already.
It's like a rite of passage kind of number.
Cool. I agree.
You're legal.
And adds
Yeah.
up to 3.
That's it.
And there's 3 of us here,
Yeah.
usually,
That's the magic.
Each of
number.
us is
And,
responsible for one of the 7, apparently.
apparently.
And
That's apparent.
We'll color coordinated.
So can you tell us about Groundswell and give us a little bit of history and set it up for us?
Groundswell has been around for about 17 years now. We're based in Brooklyn. And in that time, we've made over 450 murals across the 5 boroughs. And we've also gone into New Jersey to do a few projects.
Really?
So we're an organization that believes in collaborations between artists, youth, and communities to lead to social change. So we believe in art that's more than just art for art's sake, but art that does something more.
That's great. Yeah.
Yes.
I was looking at the Groundswell webpage earlier today, and I think it's very noble what you guys are taking on there. I didn't realize it was that many murals, even for 7 years, or I'm sorry, 17?
17.
That's still it's a huge amount of murals and
Yeah.
all throughout the city. So you guys are, can you tell us about you're funding the murals, or you're a nonprofit and you seek funding from arts
We are a
institutions?
nonprofit, and the murals are usually done in collaboration with community partners, and that could be anything from a government agency like the Department of Transportation or the Department of Education or the Parks Department, or it could be a school, or it could be a private company who wants us to come in. And it's a collaborative process where there's an issue that would ideally like to be addressed, and our artists go in, and our youth are primarily youth from New York City public schools, and we try to focus on youth that are kind of coming from underserved communities across the city who don't necessarily have art access to the same degree as other schools, other students do. And over usually about 16 sessions, we go into a community, research, talk to the residents of the area to find out their thoughts about whatever issues being covered. We design a mural, we get the approval of the community and our partners, and then we fabricate a large-scale mural.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
And so how do you find the students that are involved in this?
So the students are either brought to us through different youth service agencies across the city that actually do help provide opportunities for youth in city schools to have jobs. So all of our youth who actually participate in our programs actually get stipends. So I feel like it's a pretty awesome opportunity to be like a 14 to 21-year-old, and your summer job is to paint a mural.
That's
and
amazing.
You get paid to do that. So they're either brought through these service agencies or they're through schools, or if we're doing a program with a particular community in mind, we really try to pull youth from that neighborhood to provide them agency and actually having a better understanding of what their community's needs and thoughts and issues are, so they really become the advocates and the voices for those projects.
That's really great. I've often wondered, how certain murals pop up. We're obviously in Bushwick now, and there's a lot of public art that's on the streets and all these great murals, and I think you're going to share some of that with us too in a little bit. But since living in New York and seeing a larger amount of murals and public art everywhere, I've always wondered, like, how do these things start? Is it just one person that grabs a wall? Or and some of the stuff that you've shown me is really profound, really big, really detailed. And so I wonder, in getting these kids to go out and do this, will there be like one person that's just like, this is my idea, or is the content of the mural itself collaborative? It's
all a collaborative process, and our focus for our organization really is empowering and activating our youth artists. So the murals are actually done in collaboration, where all the youth provide their design ideas, and then our lead artist and all of our artists we have a phenomenal group of artists who all have at least a BA or a BFA. A lot of them do also have MFAs. They work in collaboration with our youth to combine all of their design ideas to create one cohesive design.
That's great. And at the same time, like, teaching the kids how to do this.
So in the process of creating these murals, it's about visual literacy. It's also about learning leadership skills. It's the idea that after completing this mural, it's not just some of these youth are actually interested in pursuing art careers and going to art school, but for other youth, it's just really an opportunity to tap into skills or ideas that they didn't necessarily know they had. And it's about learning critical thinking skills and like tapping into creativity and compassion and collaboration. And I think it's just kind of providing an outlet. Like, everyone isn't going to excel in school in like writing or math or science. So this is like this alternative means of finding you have something to contribute to society.
That's great. And also participating in the community and like actually getting results from it and seeing. I imagine it must be very spectacular to witness some of those moments, when they're done. Do they have like unveiling? We
actually do. With every mural that we do, there is a dedication where the youth artist and our artists come and present the mural to the community, and elected officials come and our community partners come. And I mean, there have been some amazing turnouts, and the beauty of our murals is, in comparison to a lot of Bushwick murals, Bushwick murals tend to be temporary, where there's this turnaround or turnover where an artist comes to a wall, and either the wall owner then gives permission to another artist, or another artist will go over and tag or bomb or kind of take over a wall. For our walls, we really have the hope that they'll be permanent, and they tend to be where the communities that these murals come to, the residents actually take an ownership over the murals and a pride, where the murals are kind of a point of reference. So I meet people and they're like, oh, we have a mural in Sunset Park or Bay Ridge, or there's one in our neighborhood in Brownsville, or, there's one in Prospect Heights or Park Slope, and there's a pride that comes to it. And so our walls don't get bombed or tagged very often. So it's a pretty amazing.
That's very cool. Yeah, and turning the city itself into this museum of heritage of the different artists that are living here.
Right.
And so that I think is a good segue to talk maybe about 6 points and talk about like the permanence.
5 points.
Sorry, 6 points. Alcohol.
We'll talk about
alcoholic
6 point after, Mike.
Can we just stop? Should we talk about beer right now? Cause,
part of the process.
I'm sorry. Perfect segue.
Well, no, it's interesting because we, my boyfriend Kyle and I went to 5 Points today in Long Island City, which is right across the street from PS1 MoMA, which is a contemporary art space. And it's interesting because in looking at 5 Points, a lot of the work that's there, it's this mixture of graffiti, which is, the origins of graffiti. It's like illegal art where you're really just going onto a wall and doing what you want and then like fleeing in the night, and it's about anonymity besides your tag. And I think there's this evolution where now there's a term for street art, which is, the next step where like an artist like Banksy could be considered a street artist, where it's like you're occupying a wall, but there is a different kind of notoriety, or you're more so rebelling against this, the art establishment of needing to represent yourself in a gallery or museum and wanting to have a more like publicly accessible art space. So I feel like a lot of the Bushwick art is more in that like street art phase, and 5 Points is like this hybrid of like graffiti and street artist. But it's an amazing space that is eventually going to be torn down for some condo development, as much of the city is coming to. But it's just this really amazing consortium of a lot of different artists just kind of expressing themselves.
And that's the thing. I think a lot of our viewers from out of state and such won't even know about 5 Points. But it's a kind of a point of contention to a lot of artists in the city. There's this giant building. And how long has that been there? I
feel like decades.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely it's probably been around at least since the 80s, I would
the owners
say.
of the building actually said, okay, wide open, and they gave permission for all these artists to come in and make their works on the building itself. And then now they're... he's
like basically like, cashing in because, the real estate market's so hot in New York that while it's amazing opportunity for artists to have a space to show their work, at the same time, it's an amazing opportunity for him to get a lot of money for a generic condo that will look like many of the other condos in Long Island City, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's all this talk, of course, already that it's, I think, Dean or somebody was telling me recently, like, oh yeah, I can't wait for that opening ceremony, the first person to go bomb that building after they remake it or something.
Right, and that's I think that's the thing too. And it's a question is like New York is becoming so clean, but at the same time is there eventually going to be the rebellion of the rise of graffiti? Because like street art has now become an acceptable, I mean, why go to a gallery or museum when you can really just occupy an entire building, which has so much more accessibility and visibility to a much wider public, and it's free.
Yeah.
So, why go back inside? So it's a curious thing. And I feel like Bushwick is a really great example of artists really taking over a space and making it their own, but in a more legal way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now the 5 Points thing, that's happening as we speak, right? In like another week or two,
they're gonna. I feel like every couple of years I've read that it's the end, but I think now is really officially going to be the end. I'm not sure when the
but they keep postponing.
They do. So go to 5 Points if you can, Long Island City,
before it doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It smells well. I don't want to say that. But you should go. You should go experience it. There's some really beautiful, inspiring work. Lots of light bulbs. Yes. Well, it's New York City. It should be a little smelly. That's what makes this city awesome.
Yeah, that's how you know you're home.
That's how you know it's
right?
summer.
Yes. Yes. So I had a few images if we want to just go through it just to talk about the evolution of a mural. So fellas, when you think of a mural, what do you think of?
Yeah, that's interesting. What do I think of when I think of a mural? I mean, well, just in this neighborhood, I think of specific murals, actually. But, I think of murals generally think of big is my first thought. It's big, it's on a wall.
Right. Technically, like the definition of a mural is just a painting on a wall. But yet there's this hierarchy that's been developed in terms of like, I feel like maybe a Bushwick wall, like there's a photo we'll see eventually. Like there's Michelangelo, a portion of the Sistine Chapel, from when Adam and Eve were being banished from the Garden of.
That's a great painting there too. Yeah, I love this.
Of Eden, and that's a mural, right? It's like a fresco on a wall, but it's still this idea that you're painting directly on a wall. And so I just have a series of murals of different capacities, but it's amazing that my organization does community murals, which I feel like it's kind of been given a bad reputation where it's perceived as an artist working with inexperienced people to create rainbows and smiley faces, but there's
that's what I was gonna say,
right? And it's like
an unfocused design of a bunch of crap.
And my organization, I'm really proud to be a part of it because it's beautiful work that's of the same level of quality as murals in Bushwick, or I would say in the Detroit Institute of Art, where the next slide, the Diego Rivera's mural is from. We're doing the same quality work, but it's this collaboration between multiple generations that are using their art to, send a message and actually really inspire their neighborhood and their community, and in the process, I think, inspiring themselves. So yeah, that's the Diego Rivera from the Detroit Institute of Art, which is a pretty amazing series of murals inside the museum.
Wait, this one really blows me away. Can you put this one into some context for us a little more?
So, I mean, Detroit, reputation, it's the, automobile center of the United States. And Diego Rivera went to Detroit and actually painted these murals inside the Detroit Institute of Art, which is an amazing institution that is facing some financial issues. And at one point, the board the city of Detroit was saying we're going to sell part of the collection to raise funds for the city of Detroit to go out of its bankruptcy issues. But I mean, this mural is just a process of really acknowledging all the different nationalities of people who kind of comprise not just the city, but just about, the history of the city and the country. And in the bottom half is just about the industrial age and the workers who really make the city run.
And it really intrigues me, the two figures that are on top of this. One is like stone and the other is like sand.
Right, and it's about the different, I think it's the 4 races, so Asian, African, Indian, and Caucasian. So that's just one portion of the mural, but the other murals represent the other ethnicities.
I see.
Yeah.
And I love that like substrata that you see this kind of like bisection of the earth.
Right, so it's almost these layers of.
Yeah, that's beautiful. How large is that?
It's gigantic. I mean, if you think about a museum space, those are like towering walls. And so this mural is over multiple walls, and it's got its own special section of the DIA. Yeah.
Awesome.
So we can go to the next slide. And so Banksy, who just finished his residency in New York, ironically, we were installing a mural on the Bowery Wall, which is a really famous street art wall in Manhattan on Bowery and East Houston. If you're in the area, please go visit it. But this is a Banksy installation that he did in the South Bronx. Ghetto for life. And there's a wealthy little kid and his butler serving him nice beverages. And the beauty of Banksy is like he's a controversial figure, but at the same time he's pretty tongue-in-cheek and using the public forum to address social issues in this way that's lighthearted, but at the same time there's something deeply rooted in what he's doing. He's anonymous, but at the same time he's getting so much notoriety that it's kind of putting into question, I think, in being a street artist, where are the values? Because he's also getting gallery museum shows. So is he capitalizing on this street art acclaim to actually then make more money elsewhere? But at the same time, then he's creating these works that are, technically they're not legal. Like he just occupied a wall in the purest form of graffiti and street art. Yeah.
On this one, is he co-opting somebody else that wrote Ghetto for Life? Or did he do the Ghetto for Life part too?
That's a good question. Does anybody in the audience know if he wrote Ghetto for Life or if he did the entire thing? Because I definitely...
I guess that he probably wrote Ghetto for Life too. Because I can't imagine someone actually writing that. What's that?
Yeah.
Yeah? And you think some other person actually...
Yeah, I think some 15-year-old did Ghetto for Life, and then Banksy was like, oh yeah, perfect, look at this.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because... Yeah, like... on the residency that he was doing, Kai was just saying that, a lot of it was co-opting that, where he would just go up and he would write the musical below somebody else's tag.
So then it's that question of, so there's these legitimate graffiti tags being put on walls, and then Banksy to some degree is making fun of them.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one.
Recontextualize. Right. I do love this one. It's great. He's being served. And it's like...
That's why a huge amount of the graffiti community really hate Banksy. There's a lot of criticism about him.
Do you want to come up here, dear? Okay. But basically, Kai was saying off air that a lot of the graffiti community is, up in arms with Banksy because he's kind of, mocking the work that they're doing, but at the same time capitalizing on their work to have even a bigger name in the process.
Mm-hmm.
So the next image is actually, I just did a Google search for Bushwick mural. And
I saw that yesterday.
lots and lots of
Yeah,
lots
we're
of
really
pages.
close to this one. It's just up the block. Yeah.
So I think this is actually part of the Bushwick Collective, which is one of those, in the sense that graffiti artists are anonymous, but this is actually like a collective of people who are organized and are invited to, paint murals on walls throughout Bushwick, and then it's like a rotating gallery.
I think that one's actually in front of their space.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, then that was appropriate.
Because there's a door next to it that says Bushwick Collective.
Okay. So then, so as a juxtaposition of, in terms of mural, this is a pretty polished and sleek mural. It's probably done by one or two people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the question is it actually what purpose is it serving besides to provide something just beautiful on the wall?
Yeah.
So there's that high degree of the intentions of a mural. If it's a public mural, should there be a responsibility to say more than just art for art's sake, or should it be art for an additional purpose? And I feel like there's probably there's space for everything.
There's a lot of walls, yeah.
There's a lot of walls,
Mm-hmm.
and so for Bushwick to be occupied by a lot of art, it's an amazing thing. But at the same time, what is it doing?
Well, it also brings up the question of advertising, right? I mean, all throughout our society, we have just basically this bullshit advertising that they want to sell us as art, and it's just like glaring at us every day. You can't get away from it.
Right.
But then somebody paints something really creative on the building, and somebody's like ready to arrest them.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's that brings up to me is there's this counterbalance between the advertiser's like, wait, no, this public space, this wall is our medium to show people what we want to show them or
Right.
something. And so it's so very revolutionary in that sense.
Right. It's an amazing opportunity, like the fact that Bushwick does open its wall space for artists, because it is really hard to get gallery representation. That they do have this platform to show their work on a rotating basis.
That's why this show is on the internet and not on public airwaves, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
We couldn't find a wall that would put us on.
I'm off the wall, man.
We're all off the wall.
Yeah. So I just to juxtapose, a Bushwick mural to a few murals that we've done.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go to the next slide. So this mural is called Bronx Rising, and it was created in Hunts Point in the South Bronx, and it was just finished this summer. And this is done by a series of amazing artists. Adam Kidder and Crystal Clarity was the lead artist. And it was done in collaboration with a group of youth for one of our summer projects. And the purposes of this mural is just to really, at the top, it's actually, there's a phoenix rising in the process. And if you know about the history of the Bronx, at one point the Bronx was burning. So in this phoenix rising, it's this idea of this rebirth. And the top of the mural says, "Don't move, improve," which was a slogan that was used in the Bronx during, the 80s and the 90s, where, people were just fleeing. And it's the idea of, to some degree, a reverse gentrification, where rather than allowing the powers that be to push you out, it's about residents staying put and actually transforming their community into the place they'd like to live.
Yeah, and what does it say? Don't move, improve. Don't move, improve. Okay, great.
Right.
And I actually don't know the history of the Bronx. What is the fire that you're talking about?
So, the Bronx was literally burning down in the 80s by the city had basically left the Bronx to fend for itself. And, arson, landlords who were kind of faulty, negligent landlords, it was more profitable just to burn a building down than if, their tenants couldn't actually afford to pay the rent, or if they didn't want to actually maintain a building. It's, for fire insurance, it was better just to burn it down. So, it was a rough place to be in, and the residents who were there weren't really being provided the opportunities that a lot of other communities in the city were. So it was literally burning. Yeah.
A building at a time.
Sorry?
A building at a time.
Well, actually a series of buildings at a time.
Well, yeah.
But yeah. So that's one of our murals.
Wow, that's crazy. And again, bringing up the idea of whose habitat is this? It's like this habitat and the idea of somebody owning it, and of course that's where we stand, and we're all paying rent. But
Right.
the idea of some one person having this radical idea, let's burn the building down and possibly kill everybody.
Well, I'd like to believe that people are out of the buildings, but I'm sure it.
Sure, but a little flair for the dramatic.
It's
Possibly
probably
kill.
at times I'm sure people were
I'm
burned
sure-
inside the
Well,
building.
yeah,
you
exactly.
can't really warn anybody without them knowing who did it.
I feel like we should have a moment of silence for those who might have been in the buildings.
Yeah,
Right?
I'm with
Yeah.
you. And New York's crazy history like that too, right?
Right.
And so to be able to express this and to discover things about that through randomly walking and seeing on a wall, And that's one thing about New York that I've always loved is the exploration factor and how much information you pick up just as you go places, and
Right.
how cool it is that some beautiful artwork like that can deliver that information.
And it's also the idea that every community deserves to have beautiful art. It shouldn't be just, focused on certain neighborhoods that have awesome museums or, a plethora of artists actually in existence, or because they have lots of resources to throw at bringing people in, but that every community deserves to have like a masterpiece that they can view on a daily basis. Yeah. So we just have like 2 more photos to show. And the next one is done in Brownsville, and it was also completed this summer, and its intersections humanized. And the lead artists were Chris Soria and Don Christian Jones.
That's great.
So this is off of Pitkin Avenue, and this was right? We're actually doing a few in the Brownsville community in the next couple of years. But this was also about livable streets, and it was just, doing research and surveys and observing the community to see, like, in creating these beautiful spaces and visions to look at, and it's all the different forms of transportation that the residents use to kind of have this, collective sense of unity. But just the visual imagery is just kind of a reference of the architecture of Brownsville, but also it's amazing that the background is actually just it's blue skies, and it's against this like gray building. So regardless of the time of year, there's you get to walk by this building and have this sense of optimism and hope. That's pretty awesome.
That's great. It's really striking too.
Rainy
Just
day.
the composition and it's so vibrant. And the color's great.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful.
And the last slide is our most recent mural that we just completed, and this is the Bowery Wall, which originally the first artist on this wall was Keith Haring in the 80s. So it's kind of the street wall, street art wall, and it's on Bowery and East Houston in Manhattan, near the 2nd Avenue F stop if you're in the neighborhood. And this was actually done in collaboration with Swoon, who is probably one of the most well-known street artists that we have. And then also Groundswell artist Yana Dimitrova and Misha Tudunik. If I butchered your name, Misha, I apologize. But this mural project was actually done to recognize Hurricane Sandy and the neighborhoods hardest hit in New York City. So we focused on 4 neighborhoods, Coney Island, Red Hook, the Rockaways, and Coney Island, and actually did murals for each of those communities. And this is actually a combination of all 4 of our murals that we did, and then Swoon added pieces to it. So this mural will be up. This is, one of the few temporary murals that we have, and this mural will be up until January.
Very cool. Where is this again? Off the 2nd Avenue?
This is off the 2nd Avenue. Yeah, so it's on East Houston and Bowery.
Cool.
So not too far away from the Bowery Poetry
We're going to go
Club.
check this out, right? When we're
You
going to
should
the
go.
Bowery Poetry Club.
You should go.
Yeah.
We only have till January.
Yeah.
Till January. Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful too.
Yeah.
So we can't see it so big here, but can you describe the content of what's in that image?
So it's in the center is one of Swoon's like most well-known figures. I think it's called Talicia, and she's got like sea creatures that kind of form her body, and she's kind of like rising above the waves. The title of this mural is Recovery Diaspora. So on each side, there's this mashup of the murals that we did. So on the top, my right, it's the mural component that was from the Rockaways, so it actually incorporates the A train. You see the train tracks, and there's lots of waves in motion. And on the bottom half is of underneath the Rockaways, it's a Staten Island component. And when the artists and the youth went to Staten Island and interviewing the residents, there was somebody said, "You can take our homes, but you can't take our hearts." So that mural actually kind of has the shape of the human heart, and the figures are kind of enclosed within that. And then on the top left is the Coney Island component, and it has the mermaid. The mural is actually on Mermaid Avenue, and the mermaid kind of is a symbol of Coney Island. So it's the mermaid, and then all the residents kind of helping with boxes and carrying supplies. And on the bottom left is the Red Hook component, and it incorporates kind of sea imagery and a hook and hands helping. And then it's anchored by Elements by Swoon.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, really vibrant and something that's like just exploring the city and then coming across this. You can easily sit down for half an hour and just enjoy it.
No, absolutely.
It's great.
Absolutely.
What do you have any specific personal favorites that Groundswell has produced that you might want to talk about or anything like that?
I've only been there about 7 months, and so I feel like every mural has some significant meaning to me. And I think more of anything, it's awesome to work for an organization where you really feel like you're contributing something to the city that you live in and really bringing beauty into it, and then also like activating like a new generation of artists. I think in working there, this is getting really sentimental, I'm sorry. But in working there, it's like I think I re-examine the city landscape a lot more. So I do look at murals in a different way than I did before. Like I'm really mindful of walking in Bushwick or walking into other neighborhoods and seeing murals and really trying to dissect them and interpret them and see, you know, what role they play in that neighborhood.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Okay.
The environment. So what's coming up for Groundswell next? Is there something new that we haven't touched on?
We're doing murals year round. We actually are wrapping up some mural projects. There's one that's going to be in Fort Hamilton in the Russell Peterson Playground, and it's to honor the Fort Hamilton veterans, and that dedication will be on November 16th. We're also actually there's this new initiative that was just kicked off right after Bill de Blasio won the mayoral election in New York City, called Talking Transition, and it was done as an initiative with like 10 foundations, and actually it's happening, like I think the kickoff is tomorrow, and it's throughout the month of November till November 23rd, where they're inviting New York residents to come and talk about what they want to see for the city in the future, now that we've been with Bloomberg for 12 years, and now it's this changing of the guard. So it's an opportunity to go listen to lectures and conversations, and we're actually going to be doing a mural live there over the course of the month. So that's on Canal Street and 6th Avenue, like down Canal Street, 6th Avenue, Grand Street, Varick Street, in the Tribeca neighborhood. It's across the street from like a fancy hotel.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. And when you say that it's going to be made live,
so it's so our entire process of like, so we're tomorrow actually from 11 to 1, we're inviting people to come and just basically draw their ideas for what, how art and culture can be used to stimulate the city and kind of create a healthier and more well-rounded city life. And through those designs, we're actually going to combine them and grid and sketch on wood panels that we will have available to us, sketch out the designs kind of that are a collaboration of all those different ideas, and then paint the mural. So as people are coming and going, they can see the start to finish process of creating a mural.
Yeah. Because it is kind of a big, to me, it's super impressive to me. I have just a very slim background in painting and some illustration, not much.
Right.
But when I've tried to work big and work with a grid method or something, it brings up all these other problems that when I look at one of those big giant murals,
right.
I'm always just, flattened, like how do you get it and have it look so great?
Right.
And some of them look like so amazing that I've literally thought it was like printed out, specialty advertising. And
I think that's when it's a really amazing artist, and I feel like all of our artists, are like that. Where you just, when it's done, you step back and it's like, did that really just happen? Did people actually make that?
That's great.
Yeah.
Is there some resource that is it besides Groundswell that we can see all the murals, or is there an archive there?
You can go to our website, and you can search by year, by location, by artist, and that's www.groundswellmural.org. groundswellmural.org.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very awesome. I love it. Thank you for sharing with us, Dayon.
Thank you.
Really cool stuff. So, Dayon Huff, thank you very much, Dayon. And stick around. We're going to play some music in a bit and grab an instrument and join us. So, yeah, Dayon Huff, representing Groundswell. I thought that was a really amazing segment. I love seeing the span of time, starting with Sistine Chapel and Diego Rivera, and then coming to modern to Bushwick here today.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me think like the mural. I should ask her about cave paintings.
Do you want to go there?
Yeah, can we go there?
Go there, in France and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, if you think about it, like in that sense, murals served a purpose where it's like documenting, their herding patterns.
Mm-hmm.
So
even off screen now, Dayon is still learning us about murals, but talking about
and how they documented the herding patterns
mm-hmm,
of
right. So that
cattle?
was like pragmatic.
Bison.
That was pragmatic communal thing, like taking part in your
It was
community.
like keeping records. Like they went here last year.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go there again next year.
Also, don't hit your knee on that stump.
And spear right here where X is.
Yeah. Watch out for giant fanged beasts. Yeah, very cool. I'm really pleased with tonight's segment. It's really great. Yeah. So, hey guys, what do you want to do now?
Let's play some music.
Okay.
Sulphurbath. Yo, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, Sulphurbath. Open the door, expose your mind, see things you've seen that you left behind. I'm trying to focus on what's in front of me now. Just a sound from a horn on a drum. Never done. I'ma see the sun. Number 1, 21, Sulphurbath. Have a good night. No, for real. Mike, these guys are going though. Mike is breaking it down though.